What if I told you that wealth has almost nothing to do with how much you earn? Picture two men standing by a river gathering water. The first guy has a massive bucket, but it's got 100 holes in the bottom. He scoops up a ton of water. He's making serious money, but it leaks out just as fast. When the river flow stops, his bucket empties out in seconds. He's exhausted, stressed out, and dead broke. The second guy only has a tiny bowl, but guess what? Not a single leak. The river water only trickles in drop by drop for him. His salary is small, but he saves every single drop. When his bowl fills up, he pours it into a barrel and then starts on another one. In the end, that first guy with the giant bucket is begging for a single drop of water. But the guy with the small bowl, he's built real wealth. This is the exact financial reality of our modern world. We are so obsessed with income, we think the solution to all our problems is just making more money. But making more money when you have bad financial habits is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. It won't make you rich. It just speeds up how fast you drain your cash. The Japanese figured this out over a century ago. Back in 1904, Japan's first female journalist, Hani Motoko, invented a system called Kakeibo, the household financial ledger. This system isn't an app. It's just a physical notebook and a pen. It's a mindful philosophy that forces you to stare your expenses dead in the eye. That's why Japanese homemakers are usually the secret CFOs of their households, managing to save up to 35% on an ordinary income. Today, I'm going to teach you the art of Kakeibo. I'm going to show you how to patch up the holes in your bucket. I'll teach you how to build real wealth, not by earning a CEO's salary, but by having the discipline of a monk, the invisible money trap. Why are we so terrible at managing our money? Because it's invisible. When you swipe a card or click Buy Now, you don't feel any pain. Companies design this frictionless spending to make you buy without thinking. Kakeibo brings the friction back. When you physically write down coffee, $10 with your own hand, your brain pauses. You realize you aren't just spending numbers on a screen, you're spending your life energy. Kakeibo turns your financial habits from a mindless routine into a fully conscious practice. The 4 pillars of Kakeibo. At the start of every month, open your notebook and answer 4 simple questions. Income. How much money do I have available? Goal. How much do I want to save? Fixed expenses. What do I have to spend? The promise. How can I improve? Most people spend first and save whatever is left, which is usually zero. Kakeibo flips the equation. Income minus savings equals money available to spend. You pay yourself first. By putting your savings aside immediately, you create an artificial scarcity that stops mindless spending. Stop checking your bank balance. It's a lie that includes your rent and bills. Check your budget instead. Every night, you sit down for just 2 minutes to review that day's purchases. This daily routine is the beating heart of the system. It forces you to face your choices while your memory is still fresh. If you dropped 50 bucks at a cafe last night, you have to write it down this morning and actually feel the sting. It's that exact sting that stops you from doing it again tonight. Most people wait until the end of the month to look at their finances. That's an autopsy on a patient who's already dead. But Kakeibo is a daily checkup that keeps the patient alive. The envelope method. For your wants bucket, like restaurants, entertainment, and shopping, the Japanese use cash. At the start of the month, they withdraw the exact amount they budgeted for fun and put it into an envelope. When they go out, they spend strictly from that envelope. When the envelope is empty, the fun is over. This teaches you self-control. If you blow your entire entertainment budget in the first week, you're spending the next 3 weeks sitting at home, a harsh, painful lesson. Next month, you'll naturally watch how fast you're spending, and that's how you learn to control impulsive desires. The rule of delay. We live in the era of instant gratification. You see it, You want it, you click, and it's at your doorstep tomorrow. This destroys wealth. Kakeibo introduces a cooling off period. When you see something you like but don't actually need to survive, you don't buy it right away. You write it down in your wish list section and wait 30 days. After 30 days, you look at the list and ask yourself, do I still want this? Or was I just bored, sad, or hungry when I wanted it? 90% of the time, that craving is completely gone. You look at the item and think, why on earth did I think I needed this? Just by doing nothing, you saved your money. But if after 30 days, you still want it just as badly, go ahead and buy it. Because now, it's a purposeful purchase, not an impulsive whim. This method destroys the dopamine loop of shopping. Shopping is often a form of self-medication to ease anxiety. Monozukuri, respect for objects. The Japanese concept of monozukuri means having a deep respect for raw materials and the craftsmanship behind every object. When you practice Kakeibo, you learn to fall in love with what you already have. Before buying a new pair of shoes, you polish your old ones. Before running out to get a new phone, you clean your current phone and clear out the clutter. By taking care of your things, you make them last longer, which naturally kills the itch for something new. The consumerist economy runs entirely on keeping you dissatisfied with what you own. But Kakeibo teaches you to take joy in maintaining and caring for your belongings. More importantly, instead of being a slave to shopping malls, you become the master of your own material world. The monthly review, or Hansei. At the end of the month, you look at the numbers and ask yourself the tough questions. Where did I mess up? Why did I spend $200 on takeout? Was I just lazy? Was I stressed? How do I fix this next month? You aren't here to beat yourself up or shame yourself. You're just gathering data. You are essentially a scientist studying your own behavior. You might realize that whenever you're stressed at work, you overspend. Boom! You've just found your weak spot. Next month, when work gets stressful, instead of dropping $50 on food delivery, you'll know to find a free alternative, like going for a walk or taking a hot shower. Kakeibo creates a feedback loop of continuous improvement, known as Kaizen. Every single month, you get a little bit smarter and a little bit more mindful. Wealth is a ratio, not a number. This is the secret that wealthy people understand. Wealth has nothing to do with how much you earn. It has to do with the gap between the money you make and the money you spend. The first guy makes $5,000 and spends every single cent of it. His wealth is zero. He's on a treadmill, running in place. If he loses his job, he's totally ruined in 30 days. But the second guy makes $3,000 and spends $2,000, saving $1,000 a month, which means $12,000 a year. He has freedom. The second guy is richer than the first guy because his time belongs to him. Kakeibo focuses entirely on widening that gap. You can't always control your income. Getting a raise is hard, but you can control your spending today. Every single dollar you save is an employee working for you. When you save $1,000, you've just hired 1,000 tiny workers to invest, grow, and buy you the day when you no longer have to work. Kakeibo is so much more than a budgeting tool. It's a mirror. When you look at your expenses, you see your true values. Now here is your mission. I want us to do a 7-day Kakeibo challenge. For the next 7 days, you have to physically write down every single penny you spend with your own hand. Just write it. Coffee, $10, gas, $90. At the end of those 7 days, look at your list. Circle all the expenses you could have avoided with a red pen and add them up. You're going to be shocked at how much money you're setting on fire. Awareness is the first step to change. So tell me in the comments, what is that one expense that gives you a guilty conscience? That little thing that empties your pockets every month, like your daily coffee and game purchases or taking a taxi instead of walking. Confess it in the comments and then write the Kakeibo pledge. I am the master of my money. Money is not my master.